Have you ever wondered why certain individuals seem to attract success effortlessly? It's because they've tapped into a powerful psychological principle, behaving as though their goals are already achieved. When you embody the mindset, actions, and language of your future successful self, your brain begins forming new neural connections that bridge the gap between vision and reality. The contrast is striking. Stay trapped in self-doubt, and opportunities fade before your eyes. But when you move, speak, and think like the person who has already arrived, the world around you starts to shift. Suddenly, the universe begins aligning with your belief. Your future is calling. Will you step into it now, or keep rehearsing failure? In the next moments, you'll uncover how to cultivate the mindset and behaviors of highly successful individuals. When applied consistently, these practices move you closer to realizing your ambitions. The power of mental rehearsal cannot be overstated. Within you lies a profound force. Once understood and harnessed, it can reshape your entire reality. It all starts with your thoughts. Every significant human achievement first lived in someone's imagination before it ever took form in the physical world. History's greatest achievers understood this core truth. You must first see it in your mind before you can hold it in your hand. Acting as if your dreams have already come true is what we call mental rehearsal. Your subconscious mind makes no distinction between a vividly imagined event and a real one. Take Roger Bannister, for example. Before he shattered the 4-minute mile, experts deemed it impossible. But in his mind, Bannister had already done it, again and again. He rehearsed the success mentally until his body followed through. You can do the same. Start your mornings by vividly imagining your goals as already achieved. Feel the emotion, envision the details, and hear the sounds of that victory. Walk with the posture of the person you aim to become. Speak with the vocabulary of someone who has already succeeded. Your subconscious will start accepting this new narrative and begin working to make it your reality. Now let's talk about the law of attraction. Have you ever noticed how some people draw success with ease, while others seem to struggle despite their efforts? Often the difference lies not in what they do, but in the unseen forces they've learned to command. The universe operates according to fixed laws, and among the most powerful is the law of attraction. Like attracts like. Your thoughts aren't idle, they're energetic signals drawing experiences that match their frequency. This isn't abstract mysticism, it's a practical fusion of advanced psychology and quantum principles. In quantum physics, the observer effect shows that particles behave differently when watched, suggesting a direct link between consciousness and reality. When you start acting as if your goals are already met, everything changes. Your entire energetic frequency shifts, your thoughts, emotions, speech, and actions begin vibrating in harmony with success instead of struggle. You begin to radiate achievement. Look at Thomas Watson and the rise of IBM. Long before it became a global powerhouse, Watson required his team to adopt the mindset of leaders. His sales force dressed with precision, spoke with conviction, and operated as though they were already at the top, even when they were just beginning. This wasn't deception, it was deliberate alignment with a future they were determined to create. Understand this: what you focus on expands. This isn't wishful thinking, it's neuroscience. Your brain's reticular activating system filters your perception to match your dominant beliefs. If your mind is filled with thoughts of lack, limitation, and impossibility, you will unconsciously find evidence to confirm them. But when you shift to a mindset of abundance, believing your goals are unfolding, you begin to notice opportunities that were always there, but previously hidden from view. Begin by refining your language. Words carry energy, they either support or sabotage your desires. Eliminate phrases rooted in limitation. Don't say, "I can't afford this." Instead say, "I'm prioritizing my resources for what matters most right now." Replace hesitant hope with firm conviction. I know this will succeed because everything necessary is aligned. Your words shape your reality. They program your subconscious like instructions it will act upon. Choose them with the precision of an architect designing a masterpiece, because that's what you're doing, constructing your future through aligned thought, speech, and action. This law functions with mathematical precision. It doesn't care about your past or perceived worthiness. It only responds to the signals you emit. When your thoughts, speech, and behavior all reflect a successful identity, reality begins to shift to match. The greatest achievers knew this. They didn't wait for the external to change before adjusting their internal world. They flipped the formula, first becoming internally what they wished to be externally. This is the identity shift. One of the biggest misconceptions about success is that it's all about what you do, but true transformation requires more than surface-level changes. It demands a shift at the identity level. There's a massive difference between saying I'm trying to get in shape and saying I am an athlete. One struggles toward a goal, the other lives it. This isn't just semantics, it's a whole different operating system for the mind. One fights against old patterns, the other expresses a new identity. Look at John F. Kennedy during the space race. America was behind, but he didn't speak with uncertainty. In front of Congress and later at Rice University, he declared, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." This wasn't just a challenge, it was an identity statement. He didn't present the U.S. as a nation trying to catch up. He spoke as though the moon landing was already in motion. That belief transformed a nation. Engineers, scientists, and administrators became pioneers who accomplished the impossible. Your income, relationships, health, they all mirror your current identity. They are reflections of who you believe you are. To change your results, you must first change who you are being. Ask yourself, who would I be if I had already achieved my highest goals? Would my routines be different? My language, my presence? Would I spend my time and resources differently? Define this upgraded version of yourself, and then start living as them now, not as an act of make-believe, but as a choice to align with who you truly are, because your current identity is just a construct, one shaped by old conditioning, not your true potential. You're not faking it. You're stepping into the truest version of yourself, free from the limitations of the past. Now let's address the greatest obstacle in the pursuit of greatness, the fear of failure. This fear is more crippling than any external barrier. It has stalled more dreams, silenced more innovation, and confined more potential than anything else. It convinces people that risk isn't worth the reward.
But the most successful people see failure differently. They don't avoid it. They understand it as part of the journey. They approach challenges as necessary steps toward mastery. Take Abraham Lincoln. His path to the presidency was paved with losses and heartbreak. He faced business failures, personal tragedies, and political defeats. 8 elections lost. But he carried himself with quiet conviction, believing every setback was preparing him for something greater. He didn't view failure as defeat, but as essential refinement. You must do the same. Ask yourself, how would I face this challenge if I knew my success was guaranteed? That one question changes everything. It removes hesitation and invites confident action. Let it change how you speak. Ditch phrases like, "I'll try" or "I hope." Say "I will" and "I am." Speak about your goals as realities in progress, not wishful thinking. This isn't just positive talk. It's rewiring your brain. It's teaching your nervous system to expect success and navigate obstacles as stepping stones, not dead ends. When you operate as if success is inevitable, every failure becomes fuel. Each obstacle becomes proof you're on the right path, facing the very resistance that will forge your mastery. Failure is only final when you choose to stop, but every setback holds within it the seed of a greater breakthrough. If you stay aligned with your vision, when you believe you cannot fail, not out of arrogance, but from deep, unshakable certainty, you act boldly. You try things others fear. You persist where others quit. And in doing so, you accomplish the extraordinary, not by avoiding failure, but by transcending your fear of it. They realized that bravery isn't the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Begin today with the unwavering belief that your success is certain, and watch as challenges that once seemed impossible begin to turn into the very steps that lead you toward your calling. Building empowering daily rituals. Most people vastly overestimate what they can do in a single day, while severely underestimating what they can accomplish in 10 years. This skewed mindset leads many to pursue sweeping breakthroughs, while ignoring the true engine of transformation, the small, consistent actions repeated daily. Your destiny isn't crafted in grand, infrequent decisions. It's molded in the quiet moments of your routine choices. These seemingly minor habits, when compounded over time, shape your reality. Designing daily rituals that reflect your highest vision is among the most effective ways to act as if you've already succeeded. These routines don't just prepare you, they reshape how you see yourself, aligning your identity with your desired future. As your self-image evolves, your behavior naturally shifts to reflect this new identity, creating a feedback loop that accelerates your growth. When Vince Lombardi took over the Green Bay Packers, a team that had won only once the season before, he didn't just modify tactics or recruit new players. He introduced a meticulously structured practice system, crafted to train his athletes to think, feel, and perform like champions. Before they ever earned victories on the scoreboard, they practiced with intensity and precision far beyond league norms. While others obsessed over intricate plays, Lombardi drilled fundamentals with ruthless consistency. Players were expected to carry themselves like professionals in every facet, from their dress code to how they communicated in meetings. These weren't random rules. They were carefully designed rituals meant to hardwire a championship mindset. Rituals that eventually led to 5 NFL titles in 7 years. You must craft your own championship rituals with the same deliberate intention. Start each day by dressing just a bit better than your current role requires. This sends a powerful message to your subconscious: you're advancing. The psychological shift from elevating your appearance goes far beyond how others see you. It transforms how you see yourself. Arrange your physical environment, especially your workspace, as though you're already operating at your next level. Remove clutter, add structure, organize your tools with care, as someone at the top of your field would. Your environment is always sending subtle cues to your mind. Make sure it speaks the language of success. Elevate the input you feed your intellect. Listen to conversations, absorb content, and engage with ideas that match the mindset of your future self. This is not passive consumption. It's strategic mental conditioning. As you expose your brain to higher-level thinking, you begin to process the world through upgraded cognitive lenses. End each day with a simple but powerful ritual: reflection. Record your wins, not merely as progress toward goals, but as reflections of the person you're becoming. This shift from achievement-focused to identity-focused journaling accelerates change far more effectively than external scorekeeping alone. Expect discomfort. These rituals may feel awkward at first, like you're playing a part rather than living it. That's not a flaw. That's the sign you're stepping beyond your current identity. Growth lives in that discomfort zone. Cognitive dissonance, the mind's urge to resolve contradiction, will drive you to close the gap between who you've been and who you're becoming. Repeat these rituals consistently. The neural pathways you initially force into action will strengthen. Eventually, these new behaviors will become second nature, and the person you used to imagine will simply be who you are. Extraordinary results aren't born from rare moments of brilliance. They're forged in the daily grind. Rituals done with intention, again and again. Mastering the language of conviction. Language is far more than a method of communication. It's the blueprint of your perception. The words you use don't just describe your world, they define it. They shape your neural pathways, influencing how you interpret every event and opportunity. To embody success before it shows up physically, you must refine your language with purpose. Let go of vague, uncertain speech. Embrace the decisive vocabulary, that reflects certainty and conviction. One of history's most vivid examples of language's power came through Winston Churchill during one of Britain's darkest moments. As Nazi forces pressed forward, and the British military faced staggering setbacks, Churchill didn't use the language of hope or possibility. He stood before Parliament and declared with unwavering determination, "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender." These weren't just motivating lines, they were weapons of psychological transformation. Churchill's words reframed reality, turning desperation into defiance and cementing a belief in ultimate victory. You must become just as intentional with your own words. Audit your everyday speech. Remove phrases that dilute your power. "I hope," "I'll try," "maybe someday." Replace them with declarations of certainty. "I will," "I am," "I choose," "I create." These shifts activate different parts of your brain. One programs doubt, the other triggers clarity and resourcefulness. Also examine the questions you ask yourself. Questions direct your focus, and your brain is a solution-seeking machine. If you ask weak questions, "Why is this happening to me?" you'll get disempowering answers. But when you ask, "How can I grow from this?" or "What's the smartest next move?" your brain starts building your future. Language is how your mind takes instruction. Speak as if success is already yours, and your subconscious will adjust its programming to match. This won't feel natural at first. That's okay. With time and repetition, these new language patterns become instinctive, and soon you'll find yourself speaking and thinking from a place of power, even when no one's watching. Words shape worlds. Use yours like a sculptor, shaping the life you've decided to create, crafting an environment that supports success. Your surroundings are a silent force, constantly nudging you toward growth or holding you in place. Just like water follows the path of least resistance, human behavior flows with the environment around it. That environment includes people, spaces, routines, and the information you absorb daily. To live as if your goals are already reality, you must intentionally build an environment that reflects and reinforces the identity you're stepping into. Andrew Carnegie understood this better than most. Rising from poverty to become the wealthiest man in the world, Carnegie attributed much of his success not to raw talent or relentless work, but to the mastermind principle. He surrounded himself with individuals who outperformed him in key areas, borrowing brilliance and accelerating his ascent. The secret wasn't that he built this elite circle after he found success, but that he started forming it while he was still on the way up. You must do the same. Examine your 5 closest relationships. Their beliefs, habits, and attitudes are shaping your mental standard. If they don't align with where you're going, begin expanding your circle. Seek out mentors. Join communities where your goals are the baseline, not the exception. Absorb the thinking of those who've conquered the same mountains you're climbing. This isn't about cutting people off, but about protecting your mental ecosystem. Just as a seed can't thrive in polluted soil, your aspirations can't grow in a toxic environment. Your physical space matters too. Your workspace, your car, even your clothing, they all send signals to your brain about who you are. Design your surroundings to echo your future, not just your present. Dress like someone who's already succeeded. Invest in tools your future self would use. Keep your environment clean, purposeful, and aligned with excellence. It might feel awkward at first, like you're pretending, but that's the point. These upgrades interrupt the status quo, nudging your thoughts and habits toward higher standards. Start small. Pick one area of your life, one room, one habit, one relationship, and elevate it within the next 7 days. That single shift will create a ripple effect. Your subconscious will begin to adopt your new environment as your new reality, and slowly but surely, your life will catch up. Surround yourself with the mindset, energy, and visuals of success. Let them whisper to your nervous system every day, "This is who I am now." Many people misunderstand this concept, assuming that simply visualizing success is enough to make it happen. This misconception quietly sabotages countless ambitions. True embodiment of success demands courageous, inspired action, action taken from a place of complete conviction, not desperation. Understanding this subtle distinction doesn't just change what you do, It transforms how you do it. Ordinary tasks become infused with an energy that attracts extraordinary results. Consider how Ray Kroc reshaped the restaurant industry through McDonald's. When he stumbled upon the McDonald Brothers' innovative restaurant in San Bernardino, California, he wasn't yet the industry legend we know today. He was a 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman facing health and financial setbacks. Yet what set Kroc apart from others in similar positions was how he thought. From his earliest conversations with partners and investors, he carried himself like someone already running a global enterprise, not like a man chasing a last shot at success. While finalizing franchise deals, securing real estate, and building systems, he operated with unwavering confidence in McDonald's inevitable dominance. Every decision he made aligned not with his present circumstances, but with the future he had already accepted as reality. This wasn't fantasy. It was strategic embodiment. It allowed him to draw in opportunities others never saw. Adopt this approach by identifying the routines your future successful self would treat as non-negotiable. Create a vivid outline of that version of you. What time would they wake up? How would they structure their day? What kind of standards would shape their communication, work, and relationships? What investments would they make consistently in terms of time, energy, and money? Then collapse time. Don't wait. Implement those behaviors now, not gradually, not when it feels safe, but immediately, and with total commitment. If your future self would reach out to 5 potential clients before 9 a.m., start doing that tomorrow. If they'd allocate 10% of income toward growth, rearrange your finances accordingly. If they would delegate low-value tasks to focus on strategic work, make that shift today. The critical difference lies not in the external action, but in the internal source from which it arises. When you act out of fear, self-doubt, or the need to prove something, even bold actions lose their power. But when your behavior flows from inner certainty, from already being the person who naturally creates these results, your energy shifts entirely. That energy, though invisible to the eye, is immediately sensed on a subconscious level. When you present ideas, offers, or intentions with certainty, people respond in ways they never would to desperation. Opportunities emerge. Resources surface. People gravitate to you, not because your actions are different, but because the energy behind them is. This effect is well documented in psychology. Research shows that genuine confidence, distinct from arrogance, alters body language, tone, and even micro-expressions in ways that trigger trust and belief in others. Leverage this principle by honestly evaluating where your current behaviors contradict your future vision. Are you delaying habits your future self would treat as fundamental? Are you tolerating conditions they would never accept? These contradictions create internal dissonance that repels progress. Resolve them by bringing your actions into full alignment with your desired identity. The more consistent your behaviors are with your inner vision, the more momentum you build. Aligned actions fortify your belief system. It's forged through repeated aligned decisions, especially when the world hasn't caught up to your vision yet. Every time you act from that higher identity, even without external proof, you reinforce the neural circuits of certainty. Eventually, what was once deliberate becomes your default operating system. Start today. Choose one meaningful action your future self wouldn't hesitate to take. Then do it. Not for validation, not for results, but because it's simply who you are now. This single step will shift your entire energetic field. It marks the moment you stop waiting and start becoming. The core of this act as if principle is unshakable belief, not surface-level optimism, but deep-rooted certainty. An inner knowing that doesn't waver when results don't show up immediately. This belief becomes the foundation for everything else. When Henry Ford defied conventional wisdom to invent the assembly line, he did so with unwavering faith in his vision. His famous quote, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right," wasn't just clever. It was how he lived. You must develop that same level of belief. Start by collecting evidence that supports it. Acknowledge every small win. Study people who overcame similar setbacks. Celebrate progress instead of dwelling on how far you still have to go. When doubt creeps in, Recognize it as a mental habit, not truth. Interrogate it. Ask who says this is true. What if the opposite were actually more accurate? What am I overlooking that supports my potential? Belief is a choice, arguably the most important one you'll ever make. Choose to trust your ability to create what you desire, and your reality will gradually shift to match. The brain doesn't differentiate between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. This is why visualization is so powerful. It primes your nervous system as if success has already occurred. Olympic athletes mentally rehearse perfect performances thousands of times before ever stepping on the track. By competition day, their bodies have already lived the win. Business works the same way. An entrepreneur who envisions success as inevitable makes bolder choices, attracts better collaborators, and persists through trials with resilience. Their internal belief radiates outward, and others feel it. You must do the same. Acting as if means taking visible, measurable steps aligned with your belief. It means preparing for success before it arrives, investing in growth before results appear, respecting your health, relationships, and goals now, not once they meet some external benchmark. When the gap between your current reality and your desired future feels intimidating, return to your foundation. Ask, what would someone who's already living this outcome do right now? Then do that, regardless of discomfort. Stay consistent, especially when things get tough. Life will often test your resolve before delivering your breakthrough. Those who give up when the path gets rocky never reach the summit. All great achievements once looked impossible. The 4-minute mile was considered a human limit, until Roger Bannister proved otherwise in 1954. Once the psychological barrier broke, others soon followed. Your self-imposed limits are no different. They persist only because you've accepted them. Challenge them every day. Replace them with beliefs that serve your vision. Begin now. Operate from certainty. Speak, move, think, and decide like the person you are becoming. Soon it won't be an act. Walt Disney would walk through empty orange groves describing, in vivid detail, the theme park he envisioned. He felt grateful for Disneyland long before a single brick was laid. That future-focused gratitude fueled his persistence through rejection and resistance. You must cultivate the same habit. End each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. Not hopes, but completed visions. Experience the emotions as if the outcome already exists. Feel gratitude not just for the achievement but for who you're becoming along the way. This practice programs your reticular activating system (RAS), the brain's filter, to notice and prioritize opportunities that align with your goal. It also creates the emotional state most conducive to peak performance. But more than anything, it connects your present identity to your future self. It lets you borrow strength and clarity from the version of you already living that reality. Gratitude dissolves fear, scarcity, and self-doubt. These are the very emotions that keep most people stuck. When you give thanks for what hasn't yet appeared, your subconscious begins to organize your thoughts, behaviors, and decisions around that new belief. History's most successful individuals used this practice intuitively. Muhammad Ali called himself the greatest before the world agreed. Entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders do the same, living in appreciation of a future they've already accepted as real. You can do this too. Pick one area of your life where change is needed. Each morning, visualize the ideal outcome. Feel it. Express gratitude for it in clear, specific terms. Then carry that feeling with you. When life throws obstacles in your path, as it will, return to this practice. Ask, how would my future self handle this? Learn, adapt, and stay grateful. You don't need hours to do this. Just a few consistent minutes daily will reshape your mindset and your results. Anchor this practice to existing routines when you wake, before meals, or before sleep. Your future is always created twice, first in your imagination, then in the world. Make your inner vision so vivid and emotionally real that reality has no choice but to catch up.